Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. Today is another great day with another great guest, and I cannot wait to introduce you to Dr. Hank. But before I do need you to follow this podcast. It is so important because you need to know about guests like Dr. Hank, and you need to let your friends know too. So share this podcast with all of your friends and recognize that we all need a little more productive joy in our lives. So today, Dr. Hank Seitz is going to give us a little bit of that. He is a whole lot of things. He is a mental scientist, a wealth maker, an author, a success and happiness coach. He's a veteran. He's a walking miracle. He's also an angel whisperer, and he channels DI instead of AI, which is divine intelligence. And he's our guest today. Dr. Hank, welcome to Productive Joy.
Well, thank you so much, Christie. And I just love what you're doing out in the world there. And with this podcast and Productive Joy, there's nothing like it. And joy is really the prize of why we're here, is to experience joy. And so we thank you so much for just spreading that angel dust of joy to all of us.
I do like to spread a little dust everywhere and get people excited. I love that. Well, and I've had some fun doing some cyber stalking and learning a little bit about you. And I know you have a fascinating story. But before we jump into the actual story, could you give us like a teaser that would make people go, oh my gosh, I need to listen to this episode? Like give us like 30 seconds of, I can't wait.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Why don't we do this? That look at it as that I am a walking miracle. I have proven beyond what science has said that I'm a walking miracle. But you're going to discover today that each one of you are walking miracles as well.
I love it. It was perfect. I love that you leaned in. For those of you not watching, go back and watch it because he leaned in and caught us in that excitement. So tell us a little bit more, Dr. Hank. You have quite a story. I'm going to guess that it didn't start with your accident. I'm going to guess it started a long time before that. So you get to pick where you start. But tell us a little bit about what makes you who you are.
Yeah, you bet. You know that this life, Christie, is, and we've all signed up for this, that this world has everything we want in it and everything we don't want. And those things that we don't want. And so I went through, and all of us have gone through lots of things we didn't want. I was brought up, my father was a pilot in World War II, got shot down, was in a Hitler prison camp. And when he came back to the USA, he said, if I have children, I'm going to make sure they can be tough to withstand something like a Hitler German prison camp. And so, and so he ended up being little Hitler. And so I was brought up, he, dropped me and my brothers off on the top of a hill in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, and take off. And we didn't know what we did wrong or whatever, but he was just trying to make us tough. But what I found is that, see, everything is a blessing. It actually, these challenges, these things we don't want, this, what I call contrast, that it births these new ideas of what do I want? And what type of life do I want? Most of us sit in our pity party and we say, oh, this is just terrible. And we Facebook it, we Instagram it, and whatever, and call people. And instead, that for us to look for, and it all depends on what you're asking for, and for us to look for, what do I want from this? And I asked that. And so one of the things I wanted to be, because of the way my dad was, is that he taught me how to be the best father ever. And so I love that. He gave me that blessing. And I was in a car accident. It totaled my body. It totaled my car. And the doctors told me that I'd be paralyzed for the rest of my life from my waist down. And I just decided not to believe them.
Wow.
And so when they said, you're not going to walk, that I said to myself, because I didn't tell them, because otherwise they tried to talk me out of it.
Sure.
But we can talk ourselves into everything. It's ask and you shall receive. What are we asking for? What are we thinking about? And it's been proven by science that thoughts become things. And science says, and this is all within the last 5 years, quantum physicists, molecular biologists, neuroscientists, all of them have agreed and proven that the way to have anything in our lives, any of our dreams to come true, that it just takes 3 steps. And the
Okay.
first step starts with our all powerful thought. We literally have the thought to mold the energies that make worlds into our world, into our life the way that we want. And then the scientist said that those thoughts create energy because the whole universe is energy. Again, proved by science, it's all energy. And, like my finger, it looks like it's just still. And really, there are, millions of atoms going around. There's more space than there is matter in my finger. And it's all moving. Everything is moving. My brick house that I'm looking at right now, that, it's moving. All of those are molecules, atoms, et cetera, moving. Well, our thoughts can move this energy. And this energy that we initially create is actually our emotions.
Mm.
And that's why one of my books, I've written 24 books on this, and one of my books is called Think, Feel, and Grow Rich. And it's about when I think that automatically and I build energy, and it's with my emotions. So when I think about things that I put emotion into it, that energy, according to the scientists, then creates matter, matter. And this is why thoughts become things. Now, what the scientists always forget about is they forget to include what most of us would call God, this higher power, the universe, this beautiful, loving energy. And so and I've been blessed to understand how life plays and how we can have life played for us, Christy. And the way that life actually plays is it's 5 steps, but we only have to do 2 things, only 2 things. And so it's all easy, it's all fun. And the first step is just like the scientist said, that it's our thought. And automatically, that thought goes to the second step, which is our emotions.
Mhm.
But that energy, those emotions that we have, is actually our communication system to the divine.
Mm.
And so it's our prayer from our thought goes to our emotions. And why emotions? Because emotions are the perfect way to communicate. If I use the word, for example, God, everybody has a different definition, different understanding. But my emotions are exactly how I'm really feeling about whatever subject I'm thinking about. And so my thoughts create this energy, my emotions, that in step 3 goes to the divine, what most people would call God. And in step 3, God instantly receives our prayer that was from our emotions, that initiated from our thoughts, and instantly answers our prayer. But Christy, people say to me, Dr. Hank, where's my stuff? Where's the money? Where's the car in the garage? Where's the person in the bed? Whatever. Okay. And where it is, it's in this energy form. And all we need to do is step 4. And I call step 4 Abe. Allow it. Believe it. Believe in who you are. Believe that your dreams can come true and expect it. And then it will. Let me give you an example of disallowing. Oh, I want to grow my business, or I want more easy money. And so that's my prayer. That's what I say. And then someone in my business says no to me, prospect says no. And then I start thinking about, oh my God, my business is going to hell. I don't have enough money. Now that becomes my prayer, and I disallow it. And God gives us the free will to ask for anything we want, or if we don't want, but we're asking for. And here's the kicker: in our thought, that 80%, we have 60,000, I'm a mental scientist, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. And about 80% of those are unwanted thoughts. So no wonder why most of us are getting what we want.
Yeah.
Because step 5, in step 4, we allow it, believe it, expect it. Step 5 is we receive it. As we receive, and the Father does the work.
Wow.
We have been told you got to work hard. And what we do is we go upstream, and none of our desires are upstream. It's downstream. It's all easy. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Right. Follow the track.
Merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but your dream. And so
Oh, I love
whatever
it.
we feel about, you can ask.
Well, wow. Okay, so you just dropped a lot of things and a lot of wisdom on us. It's very exciting. And you just casually dropped that you've written 24 books with an impressive number for sure. And we'll talk about a couple of those in a minute. But you also gave us kind of a path, right? Which is super important because it's one thing to know that this has worked for you. It's something else entirely for our listeners to say, okay, but that could work for me too. So what I heard is thoughts turn and then emotions, then the divine, then to Abe, which is allow, believe, and expect, and then receive, right? That's what we need to do in everything.
Yes.
But I want to camp out for a little while on that 60,000 thoughts a day. And
Yeah.
most of them are unwanted, meaning
Yeah.
I can't, I won't, I didn't, not, I can, and I will, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, if you were going to give advice to somebody who wanted to have a little more control over those unwanted thoughts, what are some practical things that we can do to help shift our thinking?
Sure, absolutely. And you're so bubbly, Christy. I just love it. I love your energy. It's high flying, it's angelic, and it's great. And so this is all very easy. And here's the answers. And see, if we just seek for answers and solutions, we'll get them. Ask for. And so, like you asked for, it help us understand this. Well, so these 60,000 thoughts that we have, 80% of them unwanted thoughts. What I call those unwanted thoughts is who's kind of managing them is what I call the committee. And the committee is up in our head. And it's this beautiful mahogany table with these beautiful black leather executive chairs. And the characters around this in our head with these 80% of our thoughts are fear, worry, doubt, complaining, blaming, shame, guilt, anger, and the list goes on and on. But those are the main players. And the head of the committee is the judge. And what is the judge judging? Who? Typically you.
Yeah.
Out of all the billions of people in the world, there's only one person that criticizes you more, badmouths you more than anybody else in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
And it's that committee, it's that judge that says, hey, you didn't do this right, you didn't do this. And everything has been playing out beautifully. I have also been on the other side, if you will. I transitioned to the other side 3 times in my life. One time I was in that car accident. And when I did, it's a beautiful place. And you can look back at your life and you can see on how everything played out perfectly. It's our committee that judges it. And, oh, I got a divorce, or, oh, I lost my job, or I didn't say this right, or do this right, or whatever. Actually, everything is being birthed because when we have this contrast, then what happens is if you don't go there, God does, the divine does, an understanding from your experience what you do want, and that creates growth. That creates extension of thought and feelings that actually puts the eternity into you, me, and all of us and all that is. And so we each play a key role in all of humanity and why we are eternal beings. And so it is this function that we're doing, and we signed up for it. We are the frontier. We're at the head of the line, if you will, and we signed up for it and said, yeah, we'll come back down here to Mother Earth and we'll experience this contrast because it has everything we don't want, but also this world, Christy, has everything we want. And if we just focus our attention and tell the committee, bye-bye.
Well, so have you seen the movie Inside Out 2 by chance?
I don't think so.
Oh
But
my
recall
goodness.
it.
Write it down. I mean, it is a Pixar movie, right? It's a cartoon, but it is
Oh,
so
okay.
accurate. Right Out was about a little girl's thoughts and joy and sadness and, all of those thoughts. But then she
Yeah.
turns 13 and she all of a sudden has fear and anxiety and self-doubt and all of those additional pieces. So that's what I was
Yeah.
picturing when you were saying this committee, because I do believe that
Yeah.
we all have those thoughts and those moments of, I can't, and,
Right.
we get in our heads. So,
Yes.
what I appreciate about what you just said is that we do have a lot more control over ourselves. So, I talk a lot about the difference between control and influence, right? Because
Yeah.
I believe our sphere of control is about this big, right? Like this teeny tiny little, but our sphere of influence is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Except when it comes to ourselves, right? We do have control over ourselves and
Mm.
thoughts. We just tend to hand it to everybody else, right? Like we
Right. We give
forget,
away our power.
right? We forget to hold on to it. And I think it's so important that we do. So I have to ask you my favorite question because I think that everything you're saying turns into a little bit of productive joy. But if
Oh,
you
yeah.
had to describe productive joy for me, how would you describe it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, productive joy, and I love that in your podcast being productive, and what productive means is that you're achieving more, you're becoming more, you're being, doing, and having more of what you want. And joy, so our soul is here for three reasons. The first reason is for growth. And growth automatically happens because we signed up for this. And I explained this already about we have contrast and this that expands on what do I want. And just to back off, to review that and understand that clearly on how do I manage my thoughts is you actually don't need to manage your thoughts. It's your feelings.
Hmm.
Because I shared with you that we communicate our feelings to the divine, and you and I and each one of you have been guided, supported, and loved every moment of every day and to be on your lighted path. And that is through your emotions. When you feel bad, it means that you're thinking about whatever topic it is, not as the divine is. When you feel good, you're on your path. You're experiencing that joy. So if instead of monitoring 60,000 thoughts a day, to just monitor my feelings, how am I feeling? If I'm not feeling good, I say, hey, what am I thinking about? So I'm not thinking about this as God. And the other technique is to simply say, this is what I don't want. What am I thinking about? And then ask, what do I want?
Mhm.
And what will happen is you'll change that momentum to what you want and on how to have it. Now back to our soul. So our soul is here for more growth, but then it is also here for more freedom.
Hmm.
Freedom from what? The committee. Freedom from what you just alluded to is the world, other people's opinion. Stop being a PP, a people pleaser.
PP.
That we're not going to be PPs anymore. It doesn't matter. I can't think or feel for anybody else except for myself. So the freedom from this world. And when you're free from this world, now you can start flying with your angels.
Yeah.
Now you can start calling it the way you want. And the prize, though, that your soul is here for is joy.
Yeah. Well, that
And
was
when,
a wonderfully thoughtful answer to that question because you're giving us some practical ways that we can produce more joy, right? That we can find our way. So in our bathroom, my husband and I have a stenciled sign that says perfection comes in moments because we realized, like the way his brain works, if the day gets derailed because he had it planned out in his head that it should look like this and then it rains on a boat day or something like
yeah,
that, it can ruin an entire day. And what I just heard you say is it shouldn't, because if we check in with our feelings at 8:30 when we realize the day is going to look different, then we can shift our focus. And
yes,
the day doesn't have to go to, heck in a handbasket.
right, right.
Instead, it can continue to, you can continue to flourish. And
Yes.
I appreciate what you're saying as being simple, but not easy. You know, it's not easy to shift yourself when you have a moment, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sure that you get lots of people who come to you and say, yeah, but Dr. Hank, this isn't easy. Like, I'm not sure
Yeah.
that I can do this. What advice do you
Yeah.
have for them?
Yeah. Never say that again. Because if I say whatever I say is true, okay, I make it true. We're all in the middle of our own universe, if you
Hmm.
will, and we could call in the energies of the divine to create, because it's the Father that does the work. We think, oh, we're doing it, whatever. It's our thought and feeling that actually creates the circumstances and attracts us to the people and events that we desire in order to have us achieve. So if I say, oh, this isn't easy, then you're right, and it won't be. So don't say that anymore. And what happens is, and so in fact, one of my books is called Easy Money, Easy Life. Okay. And when you start thinking about this is going to be easier now. So you don't have to necessarily say easy because maybe you don't believe it, but it's going to get easier. Another great word is better.
Better.
Things are just going to get better for me.
Mm.
And this idea about it, I love that you have the perfection comes in moments, but I'm here to share with you that perfection is in every moment.
Mm.
And that, see, it's our committee that judges it and say, oh, this isn't the way that, it should be, or whatever. And you entered into an area there also about expectations about, oh, my day was going to be this and then it
Right.
was changed. And my counsel there is, and remember, I've helped thousands of people all over the world. I've helped people become millionaires. I've helped people overcome cancer. That anything that you want to do, you can do, and you don't need chemotherapy or whatever for it. That literally we can heal ourselves. We can have life the way that we want to. And so, one of the techniques, one of the ways to do this is be more general. Like I want a long, happy, healthy, wealthy life. Just say that. And that, it's easy. That today I want big, happy surprises to come to me. You can't get anything unless you ask for it. And so,
Yeah,
what are we asking for?
that's
So,
very
what I'm
true.
going to offer to you and to your audience, you dear souls, that I have a way to help you with your thinking. And it literally will improve your thinking and change your life.
Okay.
And it's called a joy shop. And one of the reasons why I decided to be on your amazing podcast is it has joy in it. And I have that I normally offer for $1,000, give it to everybody for free. You can just at me, or that in my cell number is 214-753-7204. And just ask me for the joy shop and I'll send you the joy shop. And what it is, it's a way every morning in just 10 minutes to shift and start becoming more of a deliberate creator. We're all co-creators with the divine, with God, but most of us aren't deliberate creators.
Mm.
And this joy shop will help you to become more deliberate and start asking for big, happy surprises, more easy money, more of an easy life. And the more that you soak your consciousness and your feelings, your essence of who you are in these beautiful, good feeling thoughts. In fact, that's one of my books too, is called Good Feeling Thoughts. And it's 7 thoughts every day that people around the world have read every day, those 7 thoughts, and their life gets better. Because it matters, what are you exposing yourself to? Because if you're exposing yourself to the news, like, don't watch the news ever again. Okay?
No.
That if you're exposing yourself to social media and all the stuff that they're saying and everything, because remember, 80% of what they're saying is committee thoughts.
Mm.
And so you're getting influenced by that. Stop that. This is an inside job. If you want the outside world to turn peaceful, to live the abundant life, then it's a matter of discipline managing your thoughts and emotions.
Mm.
And some people say, Dr. Hank, why don't you face reality? You're like an ostrich. You put your head in the sand. You just look at what you want. And I say this because remember what I shared with you. Everything starts with my thoughts. So what creates is my thought. So what I receive after, in step 5, it's old news. It's a combination of my thought that has got me to step 5. So when I'm told, when you face reality, I say, I will never face reality. I'm going to create reality.
Oh, and there's power in those words for sure, because we need to take hold of who we are and what we're thinking and what we're doing about what we're thinking so that we don't get stuck, because we all get stuck in a loop sometimes. And what I'm hearing is that you don't have to stay stuck in said loop. You can create a new
Yeah.
and that
That
loop will take you.
hamster.
Yes, exactly. But that loop will take you from thoughts to the things, right? Like the stuff that we really want to manifest. I love that. So 24 books. I am gonna guess there is a website that people can find you on. Why don't you tell us the best way to find Dr. Hank?
Sure, sure. The best way to get a hold of me, again, my number.
Yes, you gave your number, right?
214-753-7204. My website, www.drhank, Hank, and then my last name is spelled Sites, S as in Sam, EITZ.com. And then you should go on my YouTube channel. You'll get we have a Master Heart Family, and that's where people come on and ask questions about life and how to do it. That I channel with the archangels, the 7 archangels, and we'll give you a piece. Be a master manifesting and angel communication, all kinds of wonderful divine things. And so I'm here. I've already made it, if you will, that I'm here in order to help the world make it and to help each one of you make it, to know that you can be, do, and have everything that you want.
Oh, I love that. And thank you for choosing to share that brilliance on Productive Joy, for giving us a little glimpse behind the curtain, if you will, and helping us understand that we do have control over our thoughts and it can manifest into wonderful things. And so we need to stop saying this is going to be hard and instead embrace that this is going to be easy, right? I love that. So I could talk to you all day, but I know that people won't listen all day. And so I would love to ask you some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Rapid fire. Number 1, what is your definition of fun?
Fun? It's anything that makes my heart sing.
Love it. Makes my heart sing. Okay. How do you know that you are showing up as your authentic self?
As long as I'm happy.
Nice. There you go. Okay.
One of my books is called The Happiest Man in the World. And my publisher, they said, let's do an autobiography. And we were about halfway through the book. We didn't have a title yet for the book. And they said, we identified what the title is. And I said, about your life. And I said, oh, cool. What is it? And they go, it's The Happiest Man in the World. And I said, oh, cool.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know what? And then speak it into existence, right? So this one, I think I know the answer to, but how do you channel your best self on your worst days?
Deep breathing, and there are no worse days anymore. Breath. And breath in the Bible. I'm also an ordained minister, 4 years, seminary school, to understand how God fit into what the science said and be a mental scientist. And the word spirit in the Bible actually means breath. And so for us to deeply breathe in, so, like I've spent thousands of dollars of breathing exercises, people, coaches, and people said, what's wrong with you, Dr. Hank? Just regular breathing. What I've discovered, there's 3 techniques of breathing. And the easiest, best one to connect you to your higher power so that you can feel good right now in any moment, despite any circumstances, is your deep breathing. 5 seconds in. And do it with me, and then 5 seconds out. Oh, and just relax.
Yeah. Well, I see behind you that inhale and exhale. And so that makes a lot of sense.
And just do that 6 times. It's 1 minute. You have to typically, for anything to really start gaining the momentum, you need at least a minute. And so 6 times doing that breath, and that's how to instantly turn your life into joy.
Love it. All right. Last question. It's going to be a tough one because you said
Oh, good.
lots of
There are no tough ones.
well, only tough to narrow because you said lots of brilliant things. So, if people can only remember one major thing from our time together, what's the number one thing you really want people to walk away with today?
Yeah, I would say that just know that your thoughts do become things, that you can be, do, and have anything that you want. And it all starts with your all powerful thought. So think about what you're thinking, pay attention to how you feel, and ask to feel better. Ask for better feeling thoughts, and you'll be on your lighted path down the corridor of joy with the doors of your dreams and desires coming true, with more laughter in your life, more smiles, more happiness, more deeper connection with the divine, with more love, joy, peace, and enlightenment.
Love
That
that.
is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Hank, for giving us hope and for sharing with us the simple way of taking hold of our thoughts and recognizing that we don't have to listen to everything that we hear in our heads, that we actually can control a little bit of that, a whole lot of that actually. So for our listeners, thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with Productive Joy again today. I know that you gained some nuggets of wisdom that you can turn around and use right away. And so today and every day, I really want you to figure out a way to turn fun into action.